Hello and welcome to the Monroe Method Clancast. I am Jason Monroe. This is episode 126. It's been a minute. My goodness, I am very far behind. I went to record the last episode for... God, if you're somebody who waits on new episodes coming out, this will make sense. If you're somebody listening in the future, it won't really matter because you won't have noticed. But it's been a few weeks since I recorded. Because I was ill, had a stupid bloody cold that would not shift. Bunged nose, tickly throat, annoying cough, painful sinuses, stupid spring cold. Gone now, done and dusted. So, had to go back into my phone there to look at Spotify to see what the last episode was, to see what the number was, what did I talk about. Then I had a look at my little notepad in my phone to see what we could talk about today. And this will be a good one. It's going to have a very clickbait title that everybody's going to read and go, ooh, I want to listen to that. The fastest way to lose weight and keep it off. I've been doing this a long time now, and there are questions that my clients and ex-clients get asked, right? There's three, I can't remember what there are, but there are three questions, three popular questions that people who I've worked with that have lost weight get asked, and it's always the same, right? How long did it take? How long did it take? How much have you lost? How long did it take? What did you do? That's all people want to know. They have no fucking interest whatsoever in what they had to do. They don't care. All they care about is the end result. People get so ridiculously hyper-focused on duration loss. They want the most amount of weight to be gone in the shortest amount of time. You tell someone that it took you a year to lose 3 stone. Nah, sorry, no thanks, not for me. I want to lose 3 stone in 3 months. People do not care about the process, and this is the problem. This is why the yo-yo diet industry makes so much bloody money, because of these people. For as long as there is going to be a market of people who want fast results in short amounts of time, not really caring if they then keep that off or not, then the yo-yo diet industry will continue to thrive. Like, think about it. The yo-yo diet industry is not getting any smaller. If I've not looked at the stats recently, but they always do these projections. So you can look at it over the years. How much is the weight loss industry overall worth? It started off millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, usually because the stuff's done in the US. Now it's in the billions. And they just keep projecting it in the future. Well, if the last 5 years it went up and up and up, the next 5 years it's going to go up and up and up. Because people keep wanting solutions to their weight, but they want solutions to the wrong thing. Do you know what? Here, I've just thought about this. Here is the reason that the yo-yo diet industry does so well. For as long as people continue to think that their weight is the problem, there will always be solutions to your weight. So if you've listened to any number of these podcast episodes before, you'll know that the kind of never-ending message is that your weight is not the problem. In the same way that any debt that you have is not the problem. The problem is, how did I get into that debt? How did I get to this weight? What are the series of decisions that I made or continue to make that are creating this situation? And if somebody can't get out of their overdraft, it's just the same thing. The overdraft is not the problem. It's I keep spending more money than I am making, or I'm not sticking to my plan. I keep saying I'm going to get out of this overdraft, £100 a month at a time, and I just don't do it. It's the same with your weight. You are doing things to take your weight to where it is now. Never forget, your weight is always exactly where it is supposed to be. Never forget this one. Your body is the most accurate food diary you will ever keep. Doesn't matter what you're putting in MyFitnessPal, Nutricheck, what you're writing in a Slimming World book. That stuff is irrelevant. Doesn't matter if you've set your calories to 1200 in MyFitnessPal. your body will tell you what is going on. If you are losing weight, your body is telling you that you are in a calorie deficit. If you are maintaining your weight, then you're eating as many calories as you need. And if your weight is going up the way, you know what the next step is. Your body is the most accurate food diary you'll ever keep. Your body is an outward reflection of your consumption. And that's not a negative thing, it's just a fact. It's a statement of fact. Like the size of your body is reflective of how much you are over-consuming by. Back when I was 15 stone, I was 15 stone for a reason. Didn't just happen to me, it didn't just appear from nowhere. I was a slob. I didn't move very much. I got in from work, I sat on the couch. I woke up and went to a job where I was super active, walking to and from work, and I still managed to gain weight because I was eating enough to overcome all of that. Like, I'm talking 20, 30,000 steps in a day between walking to and from work for 30 minutes and then being up and down on my feet all day running about in a manual job. And I still managed to eat to exceed my eating habits. Through takeaways, through snacks, through alcohol, eating out, generally just having a nutritionally poor diet. So my weight was exactly where it was supposed to be because that was the version of me at that time. And it's the same for you right now. Your weight is exactly where it's supposed to be right now, based on the way that you're choosing to live. The things that you are doing from the minute you wake up until the minute you go to bed. Every decision you make, every choice that you make. All the habits that you have that you're not working on or doing anything to change. Scrolling your phone till silly o'clock and forcing your body to stay awake long after it wanted to go to bed. Then the next again day, struggling to get out of bed, hitting snooze, starting the day on the back foot, nothing planned for lunch, nothing planned for work. You don't even know what you're having for dinner. Like, all of this stuff is a part of the reason why your weight is where it is. And while it might not feel like a choice, it is. It doesn't feel like you're waking up every day and saying, I am going to do all of these things because I want to be the weight that I am. It doesn't work like that. But when you take the time to think about it, you are still choosing to be in the situation that you're in by not doing anything about it. Or maybe you are, because most of you listening to this will probably be clients and you are doing something about it. But it will ring true for the situation that you were in before. I think the biggest challenge is that our weight is a natural outcome of the way that we naturally live. And it requires effort to live differently, especially in the beginning. You know, something that comes up so much in the Monroe Method community when I'm working with clients and doing check-ins is people's fat in their diet. I know we've covered that in a few episodes, but for me, the biggest contributor to higher levels of body weight is dietary fat. And something that most people need to do is reduce their fat intake. Now, you know, I'll say to these people, listen, it's not that you wake up every day and say, let's see how much fat I can eat. It's that when you go to the supermarket, when you do your shopping, when you make food choices, you just have a tendency to reach for higher fat options because you enjoy them. You know, you're not waking up every day thinking, how can I eat as much fat as possible today? It's just a part of your natural diet. I've had a few people join the group this week who eat a lot of protein. And they're not doing it intentionally. It's just their diets. It's just the way that they eat. And then there are people who will eat lots of carbs. People just have natural tendencies to lean excessively towards certain things. And when that's something that feels natural and normal, like that's why your weight is where it is. You are X stone because this is what your normal daily diet is like. It takes zero effort. And it's just a pattern and a series of habits and behaviours that you've slipped into that fit comfortably. Yes, you don't like the weight that you are, but you're quite happy eating like that every day. Or maybe not. Sometimes you'll have eating occasions that you don't quite enjoy. You enjoy at the time, but you don't enjoy afterwards. Anyway, the point is, your weight is exactly where it's supposed to be at any given time, based on the way that you are choosing to live your life, based on your choices, your decisions, your actions, your behaviours, your mindset, everything. So never forget that, right? Your weight did not happen to you. It didn't just come from nowhere. It didn't creep on. You took it there. And this isn't about playing the blame game. It's about taking responsibility and ownership. Because if you don't take responsibility and ownership, then how are you supposed to change it? If you think your weight is something that happened to you, that you were hard done by because you don't burn many calories or any of this stuff, you're going to find it very difficult to change. Anyway, back to the point. The yo-yo diet industry thrives because people keep trying to solve the wrong problem. And the wrong problem is your weight. Because remember, your weight is not the problem. The things that contribute to your weight are. So what is the fastest way to lose weight? It is not a number of calories. It's not a specific diet. It's not a magic combination of foods. It's not a series of rituals. It's not drinking lots of water and going to your bed on time. It's none of that shit. It's different for everyone. Well, it's the same for everyone, but it's different for everyone. The same part is what I always talk about, the exact thing that I do inside the Monroe Method, is that we go back to the source of your weight gain. What are the series of things that you do on a daily basis that are influencing your weight? So what influences your weight? Your habits, your behaviours, your mindset, your dietary preferences, the way that you do your food shop or you don't do your food shop, how bothered you can be to cook at night, knowing what you're having that day, scrolling your phone till silly o'clock in the morning, excessive screen time, 4, 5, 6 hours a day that could be used, 20 minutes of that could be borrowed to plan some food. 30 minutes could be borrowed to cook a dinner. How much sleep that you're getting, how hydrated you are each day. Sorry, I just had to kick my feet there to scare a dog into not going into that stinking water. God, she's a mink. She absolutely loves going in water that is anything but clean. Don't you, dirty girl? So, how do you lose weight the fastest way? Like I said, not found in any magic. It's got nothing to do with how many pounds per week. The fastest way to lose weight is to lose weight and keep it off. That's it. Because think about this. If you, let's do this. Let's say that you are 35 years old. And at the age of 25, you decided you wanted to go on a diet because you wanted to lose 2 stone. So at the age of 25, you joined Slimming World, you lost 2 stone, you reached your target. Amazing. 28 pounds gone. 6 months to do it. Job done. And then you decided to stop going to Slimming World because you've lost the weight now. You don't want to keep going to a weight loss group and seeing all these women getting clapped every week and all that crap. And the weight starts to go back on. And the next year, you're back in the same position. So you go back to Slimming World because, well, it worked for me last time, so let's go back there again. It's going to work again, and you lose your 2 stone. Brilliant. Now what? You do it again, and again, and again, and again. And for 10 years, you are losing and regaining the same 2 stone. And at the end of those 10 years, you are still at the same weight. So you have paid every week. You have spent time, energy, as well as your money, losing 28 pounds, only to get to 10 years later and not have lost 28 pounds. You have lost 280 pounds of body fat, only to end up right back where you were. Yo-yo dieting is the slowest way to lose weight because you ultimately get nowhere. And the thing is, it's all right for me because I all these people that come into the Monroe Method every week, I ask them about their diet history. 90% of them, I've been dieting most of my adult life. And then I look at their age, 35, 39, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60 years old. Dieting since their late teens. Now heavier than they were the first time they started dieting. Significantly heavier. Then they'll tell me about all the success they've had. Brainwashing. I had most of my success with Slimming World. I always lost weight with Slimming World. And you might not immediately think this, but I do. My immediate thought is, okay, well, what about all the weight that you gained with Slimming World? Did you forget that part? Because people don't think about that. I've lost most of my weight with Slimming World. It always worked for me. Yeah, but you then left Slimming World and put weight back on again. So Slimming World failed you. They didn't teach you how to maintain. They didn't teach you how to be successful without them, obviously. Because if they teach you how to be successful without them, how can you go back every year for your entire life and keep paying the same money to lose the same weight over and over again? Yo-yo dieting. So, think of it this way, right? I spent most of my 20s around 14.5 to 15 stone. I spent almost 10 years of my 20s dieting. Losing 2 stone. Losing 3 stone. Always putting it back on again. I don't know how many hundreds of pounds I lost and gained during my 20s. Because I tried so many different stupid things. And then it wasn't until I got to I think it was 31, 2016. When I was like, yeah, there must be a better way. Surely this is not how you're supposed to manage your weight. You're not supposed to spend 3 months of the year at a healthy weight and 9 months of the year overweight and then getting fed up with it and trying to lose the weight again so you can spend another 3 months at your lower weight. And that's how I ended up creating the Monroe Method eventually, because I realised that there are, it took me 10 years to come to the realisation that there must be another way of doing things that doesn't involve this stupid yo-yo diet stuff. So there must be lots of other people out there in the world who are not having this realisation at all. And there is. I've worked with thousands of them. People who have not tried to find a better way. They've just stuck with Slimming World, Weight Watchers, Scottish Slimmers, all the crap in between for 20, 30, 40 years because it didn't cross their minds to think that, what's the alternative? There must be a different way of doing things. And even if they do have that thought, then how do you find it? How do you actually find, go into Google and type in how to lose weight and keep it off. It's all the same shit that comes up. Slimming World, Weight Watchers, Noom, etc. All the same crap. And they don't do what they promise. Because they don't profit from that promise. They profit from you showing up every week and paying money. And they want to keep you doing that for as long as they can. Do you know, I'll tell you this, right? I bought a course a couple of nights ago from a woman who runs a membership service like I do. And I wanted to try and learn a bit more about basically how to bring more people in, how to help them better, how to get better results, right? So I bought this course. It was like $27. Drip-fed daily 30-day thing. I'm working through the exercises and she's all about money. So some of it's not quite applicable to me, but she on the second lesson yesterday, she dove into a topic. I can't remember to quote her. But she said something about there are this type of binary members is one term, and then there are whatever the other one is. And she explained, so there are binary membership services, and then there are the other one. Binary is very black and white. So it's like, I'm going to help you do this thing, and once you've done it, then you leave. And then the other one is attaching people to you for life. And as soon as I heard that, I'm like, that's what Slimming World does. That's their service. That's what they do. So I realised I run a binary membership. So I am always going to be reliant on new people coming into the Monroe Method because I need to keep helping new people, because by the end of their time with me, they shouldn't need me anymore. So I'm only going to, the vision is that I only work with each person once and I don't have to work with them again. Because not only have they gotten everything that they needed from me, they've also reached the weight that they want to be. They've got all the tools and skills to then go and keep that off. And then there was the other one. And she was bragging about, like, I've got friends in the membership space who have had members for 16 years because their members' health becomes dependent on them. And I cannot think of a worse thing. Like, that's great for that person to be taking money from someone for 16 years. Great for them. But I cannot think of anything worse than working in the weight loss space and being, creating a dependency on you. That's literally what Slimming World does. Like, imagine someone's weight not being dependent on them, right? Imagine your weight in fact, you probably can imagine this because you probably are dependent on. So, if you're listening to this and you are a lifelong Slimming World member, then you have that dependency. You know that you can't control your weight by yourself, so you keep going to Slimming World. I can't think of anything worse. I cannot think of anything worse than turning someone into being dependent on the Monroe Method. If I stop following the Monroe Method, then I'm going to put weight back on. Then I'm like, well, that's not good, because the whole point of the thing that I've created is that that's not meant to happen. You're not meant to be a lifelong member. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, it just made me think of that this is the model that Slimming World have. Talk to any Slimming World consultant, talk to any regional manager. I've talked to many, I've worked with many, I've had many comment on my posts on Instagram and TikTok and reach out and talk to me. They will tell you that Slimming World is all about repeat business, because repeat business is the easiest to get. The easiest. That's why it's so challenging for me to bring new people into the Monroe Method. You have to build trust. They have to know, like, and trust you. They have to get your message. They have to buy into you. Okay, here's a guy that wants to help me do this, and that's actually exactly what I need. I don't want to keep going to Slimming World, blah, blah, blah. Whereas repeat business, it's like, this is what Slimming World does, and this you'll recognise this. Hey, just reaching out, it's been 6 months and we've seen you at group. Are you living your best life at your goal weight, or do you still want to get there, or some shit? We'll welcome you back at group with open arms. And listen, we've got a special offer on this week. You'll get your first 2 weeks and sign up completely for free. Or some crap like that. And this will usually happen, like, maybe if they've got your WhatsApp. A lot of it goes on Facebook Messenger. A lot of it goes on Facebook pages and groups that you're still a part of, even though you don't go to that class anymore. Outreach, it's called. Warm outreach, we would call that. Cold outreach is when you're reaching out to strangers, which is awful. Cold outreach is what they do. I've told you about this before. Remember that time I was at the local gala day a few years ago now? I think it was just after COVID, maybe 21. I was at the local gala day, and there was a Slimming World stall with 3 ladies at it. One would have been the consultant, the other 2 would have been volunteers, and they were standing with carrier bags. So these carrier bags had some Slimming World goodies in it, and they were the 3 of them were standing there judging every overweight woman that walked by. Just let that sink in for a minute. Because as soon as they saw someone that was overweight enough, they tried to meet their eyes and then approach them with a carrier bag. Essentially, to get them to sign up to Slimming World, right? So just let that sink in for a moment. These 3 women, who were all overweight themselves, by the way, were approaching other overweight people and handing them a goodie bag and basically saying, hey, you're fat. Come to Slimming World. Oh, there's another one. You're fat too. Come to Slimming World. You'll be welcomed with open arms. Jesus Christ. Imagine that being the start of your weight loss story. Well, these 3 women looked at me when I was at a gala day, and they decided that I was fat enough to join Slimming World. So they came and gave me a goodie bag, telling me all about how I was so fat and I had to do something about it. Ugh. Disgusting. So, Christ, I've wandered well off the topic now. So yeah, if you are someone who thinks about fast weight loss, you need to get away from the whole pounds per week stuff. The whole, how long is it going to take me to lose the 50 pounds I have to lose? I want to find a plan that helps me do it in 3 months, not 6 months or 12 months. You need to drop that shit. Because that is the slow lane. The fast lane, oh yeah, I didn't finish that, right? So, coming back to me, let's say I spent 10 years losing and gaining 2 stone, right? It was more than that, but for the sake of easy numbers. So 10 years, 2 stone on, 2 stone off. I have lost 280 pounds. I have gained 280 pounds. I'm now the same weight that I was at 30 as I was at 20, right? During some of those stints of weight loss, I lost weight very quickly. Beans and toast diet. 1 slice of dry bread, half a tin of beans, twice a day. Weight fell off me. And I was farting like a trooper. Cabbage soup diet. Special K. 1 meal a day. Atkins. High protein only. What else did I do? 1,200 calories a day. Eat whatever you want, as long as you don't go over 1,200 calories a day. And Scottish Slimmers, followed that for a while. When my wife signed up to it, I just copied her. Did all this crap. Forever Living C9 Cleanse. Did a couple of those. Because my sister-in-law was a rep, consultant, whatever you call them. So yeah, this was me losing and gaining 2 stone. Some of those times I did it very quickly. Some of those times I did it slowly. But when you zoom out from that and I look at that decade period and I think, Christ, I spent all that time, all that energy, all that money, all that thought, writing things out, tracking things, typing things into a phone, following plans, drinking fucking aloe vera gel, emptying my guts, all of this nonsense, for what? To end up the exact same weight as I was at 20 years old when I turned 30. And that was the point I decided enough was enough. I found something that was slightly different, although super disordered, which is still running today. Horrible toxic environment to be in, shame environment, binge eating encouraged, all the horrible things. But it introduced me to calories and macros. And it started to introduce me to science research and studies. And that was when I was like, okay, this is the stuff I wanted. This is the science stuff. I can understand this stuff. I've got a logical mind. If you start telling me this is how your body loses weight. If you do this and this, then your weight will come down. And if you learn how to make sure you do that for long enough, your weight will stay down. That my brain can work with. So that was what put me on the pathway to becoming a nutritionist. So I lost weight for the last time back in 2016, I think. 2016 into 2017, because throughout the last half of 2017 I decided to create the Monroe Method. So let's say 2017. I have maintained my weight since 2017. It's now 2025. And I am still just as lean and light today as I was back then. That is fast, and it doesn't matter how long it took. The time, again, is irrelevant. It's how long do you maintain for afterwards. So 20 to 30, lost and gained 280 pounds. In 2017, let's just say I lost 30 pounds. 2016 into 2017, I lost 30 pounds. And I've never seen it again for the last 8 years. Does that sound better than losing and gaining the same weight and getting nowhere? So this is what it takes to lose weight fastest, right? It is not how can I lose the most amount of weight in the shortest time possible. It's how can I lose weight and keep it off. That is the fastest weight loss in the world. when you get to keep your results, when you don't put the weight back on, when you don't have to do it again and again and again, that is the slow route. So, like I started to say earlier, it's all right for me because I have that perspective now. It's a very different story when you're the person in the moment living your life 1 week at a time, one scale measurement at a time. Slimming World love that. They love to get you completely blinkered and zoomed in, and what you're going to do this week and what you're going to do next week and what are you aiming for next week. It's not like, let's not think about 6 months down the line when you're going to maintain your weight. We don't want to talk about that. Let's just keep you hyper-focused. What are you going to do this week to get that 3 pound loss next week? Cool, let's do it. And I'll see you next week. It's all week, 1 week at a time. And you spend so long living those 1 weeks at a time that 10 years go by and you're like, fuck, I've gotten nowhere. I'm the same weight in 2016 as I was in 2006 and I've been going to Slimming World for 10 years. How does that work? I thought they told me I was a success. I've got all these stickers. I've got all these awards. I've won Slimmer of the Week 20 times. I was Miss Slinky back in 2014. But I'm still the same weight as I was when I first started. I guess people don't like to think about that too much. Because if you do, then what's the alternative? Well, the alternative's me, but people don't know about me. Well, the alternative's not me. People like me. But I've come to realise that people like me are few and far between. Services like what I do are few and far between because they're not as profitable. It's less profitable to try and help someone solve a problem once than it is to help them solve it over and over again for their entire lives. However, one approach makes you a good person, the other approach makes you a fucking horrible person. That isn't to say that Slimming World consultants are horrible people. A lot of them are oblivious to what's going on. Most of the chats that I've had with Slimming World consultants, when they stopped being a consultant, they usually do so for the same reasons. I couldn't do it anymore. It just got to a point where I couldn't keep repeating the same crap to the same people who had been showing up to that group for years. Just do this, just do that. Just draw a line and move on, Susan. You'll be fine. No, I don't know why you keep binge eating every weekend. I'm not qualified to help you with that. They just couldn't do it anymore. That's why there's such a short lifespan on Slimming World consultants. I don't know if you remember, but I spoke about this a couple years ago, where Slimming World were struggling so much for consultants that they changed their rules. It used to be that you had to be a Slimming World member and you had to have successfully lost weight with Slimming World to then go on and become a Slimming World consultant. So they changed the rules because they couldn't get enough consultants in. And now you do not have to have any experience with Slimming World at all. You don't even have to have been a member. You don't have to have attended a group. If you actually go on the website, I've not read it for a while, but when I last checked it, on the website it said, you don't need to have any experience with Slimming World. You don't have to have been a member, but you do have to have a strong belief in the plan. A strong belief, like, how can you have a strong belief in something if you've never done it? Yes, you can read the book and read a bunch of cherry-picked testimonials from a handful of members and go, oh, this must be good. Yeah, I'll be a consultant. But that's the level it got to. It's gotten so hard for them to recruit consultants that they had to change the rule book to allow anyone in, not just Slimming World members, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. If you've got millions of members, like they claim, how can you not get a few of them to want to take on your franchise and be a consultant? Anyway, that's enough from me. Fastest way to lose weight is not going to be found in pounds per week. It's not going to be found in calorie numbers. You need to stop thinking like that. Do you know, my mum in the past has taken so much pride when she's been on a diet, because she gets to the end and goes, yep, I did it, 30 pounds in whatever, 10 weeks. She took so much pride in it. And then she would do it again and again and again. And she did the same thing every time. Something that Facebook was like revolutionary for my mum. See, when she could start sharing stuff on Facebook and getting all those comments and praise, that was it. Her yo-yo dieting career took off. She loved it. That motivated her. Compliments motivated her big time. Attention from other people. Oh, Aileen, when you're on it, you're on it. When you get your head in the zone, there's nothing stopping you, Aileen. You're an inspiration. She loved all that shit. So it made her eat less and less and less to lose weight faster and faster. So she could do that thing at the end of every attempt and say, oh, 35 pounds this time, 6 weeks. Or something ridiculous. Oh my God, Aileen, amazing. And she did that for years and years and years. I think Facebook's been around for 20-something years now. How old do you feel when I say that? So, stop thinking about most amount of weight, shortest amount of time. That is not fast weight loss. If you put on the weight that you've just lost and have to lose it again, that is not fast weight loss. That's slow weight loss. It is the absolute slowest form of weight loss. You've just been brainwashed into thinking that you're some kind of success, that you're doing great. You're not doing great. And I don't mean to burst your bubble, but it's a bubble that needs to be burst, because otherwise you're going to keep doing it for the next 10 years. I'll leave you with this question. If the last 10 years of your dieting career has been losing and gaining weight, and your approach to your weight does not change, like if you continue to follow yo-yo diets, to continue to hop from plan to plan, keep joining challenges, keep joining Slimming World, keep joining Weight Watchers, right? If you've been doing that for the last 10 years and you are still at a weight that you're unhappy with, or you're back at your start weight, or your weight's even higher, what does the next 10 years look like if you don't change your approach? If you keep doing the same things that you've been doing for the last 10 years, you are going to keep getting the same result as you have for the next 10 years. And you'll be listening to a podcast by someone else in 10 years' time thinking, Christ, I've not just wasted 10 years of my life now, I've wasted 20. So it's not you, it's not your weight, you're not broken, there's nothing wrong with you. What's wrong is that you are easily led, or maybe not so easily led, but you allow yourself to believe the crap that you get fed from yo-yo diets. And it's helping you feed into your diet mentality. Like the more time that goes on, the more fatigued you become with dieting, the more attractive crash diets become. But the more you do the crash diets, the more you feed into the problem that's got you to the point where you're fatigued with dieting. So you need to stop. And you need to accept that you're going to have to do it the longer way. You're going to have to do it the slightly harder way. But with the thing that lies on the other side of that being that you never have to diet again. Anyway, enough from me. Until next time.